Hello and welcome to this theater talk on Archduke by Rajiv Joseph. My name is Karla Hendrick and I'm a teaching artist with Roundabout Theater Company.
And hello, my name is Ryan Kim and I am also a teaching artist here at Roundabout. And this theater talk will be Karla and I talking a little bit about what we're excited about for this show and maybe some things for you to think about as you come to see Archduke. So Archduke is the story of Gavrilo Princip, the person who assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand, an event that essentially launches us into World War I, and his group of revolutionary friends and the build-up to that assassination.
And you know, Ryan, it's not strictly a historical take, it's so much more than that. It really illuminates our time and our history today in a very absurdist, provocative, and profoundly funny way.
That's right, it is a comedy.
After all. And for you watching at home, we want to let you know that as of this taping, they haven't started rehearsal yet. But Ryan and I have read the script, and we've been able to access things that the director and playwright have said about the work in their own words. Ryan, tell me, what were your first impressions?
Well, my first impression was, how do I read this play? I don't really remember a lot about World War I, frankly. It's been a long time since I've been in a history class. And is that going to be an obstacle for me to drop into this play and really get invested in it? But the answer is no. I didn't need that knowledge ahead of time. And secondly, I didn't know what kind of play I was reading for a while. It took me a minute to find my feet and decide and understand what kind of world I was stepping into. But that disorientation, I think, is kind of fun and happened for me throughout the reading of the play.
Oh, that's wonderful. For me too.
Yeah.
I had the same experience when I first encountered it, you know, yikes, World War I, the Austrian occupation of Serbia in 1914.
Right.
I don't have that background, but it is not necessary as a theater goer entering the theater, right? Rajiv Joseph, the playwright, gives us everything we need to experience this world fully. And if you're interested in learning more about that history, we have great resources for you in the Upstage Playgoer's Guide online. And it really is all about the characters, right? And the absurd situations they find themselves in.
Absolutely. You know, Karla, you've used the word absurd a couple of times, and I really felt that in reading this play as well. I thought of other pieces such as Mother Courage or Ubua by Alfred Jarry, and even Dr. Strangelove at one moment. It's got that sort of feel to it. It's not absurdist in nature like Ionesco or Beckett, but there are hints and notes of it in the play. It's more that these characters are finding themselves in absurd times, and how do they cope and react with that? And that's something that I personally feel every day, to be honest.
Yes, me too,
Yeah.
Right there with you. When I read it the second time, I found myself actually laughing out loud.
The comic timing came through in just reading it, and I can't wait to see with this troupe of very talented and accomplished actors how they're gonna breathe life to it and bring it to the stage.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Ryan, tell us a little bit about the playwright.
Rajiv Joseph is one of the most acclaimed voices in the American theater today. His play Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo was a 2010 Pulitzer Prize finalist. And you know, a fun fact about Rajiv, he served for 3 years in the Peace Corps in Senegal. And it was there where he said he was really shaped as a writer. He initially wanted to be a novelist, but when he was attending NYU at the Tisch School of the Arts, he saw 2 shows. One was Our Lady of 121st Street, and the other was Intimate Apparel.
By Lynn Nottage, a Roundabout show, and the inaugural show here on this stage at the Laura Pels Theater.
Yeah, and after seeing those shows, he thought, I want to do that. And now here we are returning to the Laura Pels for this production of Archduke.
Coming full circle.
Yeah.
And let me tell you a little bit about our director, Darko Trejnik. He's an award-winning director of plays, musicals, even operas, and his work has been on stages all over the world, including the Public, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the Metropolitan Opera. He won a 2014 Tony Award for his production of A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. He directed Cyrano de Bergerac with Patrick Page, who is in our production of Archduke. So Ryan, tell me, what are you curious about? What are you looking forward to with this production?
I am really interested in seeing how the mixture of humor and violence is going to translate in this play. It is really funny. It's a comedy after all, but it's also written to be very violent. There's a lot of big spectacle of violence, and I'm really wondering what that's going to look like on stage. But I feel taken care of in a sense because Darko has said that he sees the world through the eyes of Carol Burnett, which I completely relate to. So I'm just curious how this, really dark story about an assassination and these outlandish characters are going to be told through that lens. I think that Rocio Mendez, the fight director, really has their work cut out for them because, like I said, some of it's really gruesome in reading it. I'm wondering how that might affect me and the audiences in seeing that.
Very interesting, very interesting. You know something I'm excited about?
What?
Christine Nielsen.
Totally.
I'm a big fan of hers. She is stepping into the role of the only female character in our story, and she's quite a colorful character, and I think I'm going to leave it at that.
Absolutely. I love her in The Gilded Age, and she plays opposite Patrick Page.
Yes.
Right? Playing the character of Apis.
That's right.
Who's written to be this huge, really domineering and commanding character, and it's his second time tackling this role. Actually, when I read that, I was sort of thinking of that role as being sort of like Pozzo from Pozzo and Lucky from Waiting for Godot. And I'm really curious to see how those two are going to bring their artistry to these wonderful characters.
Right, and her character is said to be kind of a foil for the Apis character. It's going to be interesting to see. Tell me, what themes jumped out at you?
And that comes up over and over again in the play is what gives life meaning. And it's something that I think about a lot, to be honest. Is it money? Is it security or status or legacy?
Glory.
Glory, exactly. How am I going to be remembered? Am I going to be remembered? How are people going to remember me? And how do these ideas serve in me living toward a greater purpose? How about for you?
I have two nephews. They're both around the age of the boys in the story. And this really made me think a lot about young men in our society today, and not just in this country, but all over the world, and how they're navigating and negotiating their way through life at a difficult time.
Yeah.
Sometimes lost, sometimes struggling, always, it seems, searching for that meaning that many of us are searching for, right? That feels like can leave a little bit of a void. And so what it's also made me think about is the manipulation of young people at the hands of the powerful people for the purpose of creating havoc in society today.
Right, I've got this empty space in me. Who's going to fill it up with meaning, and what is that going to do? Another thing that I thought about was the manipulation of history and the retelling or reshaping of history, and what are the motives behind that, and what are the possible outcomes as a result of that, and what might the world look like?
Here's what I think the audience is going to take away, or follow or feel.
Yeah.
I think they're going to really fall in love with these boys.
For sure.
The young men.
Yep.
I think they're going to respond really well to the humor, right, and the absurdity of it all. And I think, and I wonder if they're going to have some hope in the experience of this work, have some hope that history can actually be changed.
Yeah, hopefully, right? How much of it is predestined? How much do we play a part in terms of shaping our future? So Karla, is there a question that you'd like for the audience to consider as they come to see this piece?
Yes, Ryan. It connects to Rajiv's interest in shaking things up in history a little bit. And he has a hope, and he's articulated his hope this way. He says, it is still possible for us to reconsider our fate. So I'd like to turn that into a question for our audience. So, audience, what do you think? Is it still possible for us to reconsider our fate?
Wow, Karla, what a deep question for us to consider as we come to see this show. Amazing. Thank you so much. I've had such a good time talking to you about this play, and we hope that this gets you excited to come see Archduke here at Roundabout.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you at the theater.